Long ago, in the lush, rolling hills of Yorubaland, nestled between ancient baobab trees and winding rivers, there stood a thriving village named Ironwell, home of the drummers. It was not just any village. Ironwell was the heart of the talking drum, where rhythms were more powerful than words and where every beat echoed the voice of ancestors. The talking drum, known as gong, was a sacred symbol in Ironwell. It could speak in tones and phrases, mimicking human speech and sending messages over vast distances. But it was more than just communication, it was spirit, legacy, and power. Among all the drummers in Ironwell, none was more gifted than a young man named Arimo, the son of the late royal drummer. Arimo was tall and proud, with sharp eyes that danced like fire and hands as swift as the wind. His father's drum had been passed down to him, a sacred instrument carved from an ancient Iroko tree and stretched with leopard skin. The villagers often whispered that the drum had a life of its own. Arimo learned quickly. By the time he was 15, he could play rhythms to call the rain, to heal the sick, and even to stir laughter from the gods. He became the pride of the village, the center of every festival, the heartbeat of every ceremony. But with such fame came pride. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills and the sky blushed with orange, Arimo sat beside the old drummer Bobaid, a wise man with skin like leather and eyes full of memory. "Boba," Arimo asked, "is it true there is a rhythm that even the gods fear?" Bobaid's hands froze mid-motion. He turned slowly to Arimo. "Who told you this?" "I heard whispers from the traders who came from Ibadan. They spoke of the Ajalo, the rhythm of sorrow and power." Bobaid's face grew dark. "That rhythm is forbidden," he whispered. "It is not for men. It was played only once by Oromola himself, during the creation of the world. The beat holds power over life and death. If a mortal plays it, it awakens something ancient, something best left asleep." But Arimo's curiosity had already bloomed. That night, while the village slept, he crept into the sacred grove where his father had once played. Beneath the full moon, with trembling hands and defiant pride, he placed the drum before him. He began to play. At first, it was soft like the whisper of wind through grass. But as the rhythm deepened, the air thickened. The trees stilled. The animals silenced. The earth held its breath. Then, with one final strike, the drum screamed. Yes, screamed not in music, but in anguish. A voice, old and full of thunder, boomed from within the drum, "You have awakened me. Now bear the curse of the gods." The morning after, nothing was the same. The once clear river Omi Umoja turned dark and sour. The fish floated belly up. The livestock bellowed and collapsed. The baobab trees shed their leaves in mourning. Even the sky seemed to dim. The villagers, once joyful and proud, now whispered in fear. The children would not stop crying. Crops withered. Strange shadows danced near the shrine at night. And the drum, the sacred drum, no longer spoke music. It growled. It muttered in strange tongues. When Arimo played for joy, the people wailed. When he played for peace, fights broke out. Desperate to fix what he had broken, Arimo went to the elders. The council, led by Bobaid, convened under the ancient Iroko tree. They listened to his confession in silence. At last, Bobaid stood. "The curse of the Ajalo has returned. There is only one path now. Arimo must journey to the Cave of Echoes, beyond the 7 hills of Olumo. There, he must beg forgiveness from the spirit of the drum." With nothing but his father's drum and a satchel of yam cakes, Arimo set out on his journey. The road was long and full of trials. On the second day, he met a talking tortoise named Iroko, who blocked the path. "Tell me a story that I have never heard," Iroko said. "Or remain here forever." Arimo told the tale of his own arrogance, of the forbidden beat, and the curse he had unleashed. The tortoise, surprised by his honesty, stepped aside. "May your truth guide your steps," it said. On the 5th day, Arimo crossed a haunted forest where spirits whispered lies. Go back, they hissed. Your people hate you. But he held his drum tight and sang an old lullaby his mother once hummed. The spirits faded like mist in the morning sun. On the seventh day, bleeding and weary, Arimo reached the mouth of the Cave of Echoes. The rocks vibrated with energy. Every step he took was answered by 100 ghostly beats. Inside, he found the great drum spirit. It was massive, taller than 3 men, with a shimmering skin that changed with every beat. Its voice shook the walls. Why have you come, child of men? Arimo fell to his knees. I sought power and brought ruin. I beg forgiveness. The drum spirit was silent for a long time. At last, it spoke. The beat you played was not yours to command. Yet you have walked the road of sorrow with courage. There is a price to lift the curse. I will pay it, Arimo said. You must give up your voice, the spirit said. Forever. No words. No music. No sound shall leave your lips again. Only then will the land be healed. Arimo's heart shattered. Drumming was his life, his joy, his identity. But his people were suffering. He nodded. The drum spirit struck once. The sound was like thunder tearing the sky. And just like that, Arimo was mute. When Arimo returned to Ironwell, he was greeted with suspicion. The river still ran dark. The trees still wept. But when he lifted his drum and beat a gentle rhythm, the water cleared. When he played a song of healing, the children laughed again. The land began to breathe. The elders wept and bowed to him. He had paid the price. He had broken the curse. Arimo never spoke again. He never played for fame. He walked from village to village, teaching with gestures, showing young drummers how to play with respect. Children called him Arimo the Silent. Fathers taught their sons about the danger of pride. Mothers told their daughters about the boy who gave up everything to save his people. And in the heart of Ironwell, under the ancient Iroko tree, his drum still rests a reminder. Epilogue, the rhythm lives on. Years passed, and Arimo grew old. He never took a wife, never built a house. His only companion was his drum. One evening, as the sun set over the hills, he lay beneath the baobab tree. He looked up at the sky one last time and closed his eyes. The villagers say that on that night, a soft rhythm echoed through the air, though no hands played. And from that day onward, every child in Ironwell is told, respect the drum, for it speaks. Honor the rhythm, for it lives. Fear the silence, for it once saved us all. Moral lesson. Even the most powerful gift can become a curse when misused. Pride opens the door to destruction, but humility and sacrifice can restore what has been broken.